Good evening and welcome to the latest edition of Lockdown Lowdown. I hope you've all had a good week and I hope that you've not been too bored. Or if you're back at work, you're maintaining social distance and maintaining a lot of safety, because that's what we all need to do. But we've got a very interesting edition of Lockdown Lowdown today. I'm going to cover lots of subjects, both sporting and financial. A lot of information to give you, and some very important information as well, to try and just put you straight going forward, and things that you should do and how you should react. So just to highlight the things we're going to cover: the market and the investments on the week. We're going to cover the new furlough rules from the 1st of July and part-time work, what that means. We're going to cover credit card and loans. It's quite important, the credit card and loans situation. That'll be very brief. What's happened to the housing market over the last month. We're going to cover mortgage holidays and what you were told about mortgage holidays and loan holidays and credit card holidays that isn't true. And I'm going to, I'm afraid, have to contradict things that you were told, and that's really important. We're going to come on to something else that's very important: the test and trace system, and the scams that have already been unveiled this week. And I'm going to tell you how to avoid the scams of the test and trace should you ever get a phone call. I'm going to give you updated news about the Oxford vaccine. That's something that I covered a couple of weeks ago when I said the follow the money concept. And if you haven't watched that already, go back and watch the Lockdown Lowdown where we talked about follow the money. I'm not going to bore people that haven't already watched that, but we're going to pick up a very important update concerning that. And we're going to talk about boxing and the latest news concerning shows that are being, and fights that are being planned ahead, and what's really going on with the boxing. So we're going to cover all of that. So a lot to get through. I'm going to rush through it or whittle through it as fast as I can. If you want to post any questions on here, then what I will do when I finish covering all the subjects that I'm going to cover, whatever questions there are, Kate will fire to me, whatever subject it's about, and I'll do my very best to answer them. Although I do stress I can't go into specific advice. What has been good for me personally has been the amount of clients that have come on board since we've done this Facebook Live thing for you. And we've also had lots of people I've been able to help who are not clients and not potentially going to be clients at this stage, but people I've been able to help. So it's been very worthwhile not only being able to help people, but it's also been good that we've picked up a lot of clients and been able to put them in the right direction, especially with investments and mortgages, because that's been very, very busy in the last month or so. So let's just start off with investments in the last week. Once again, all my clients' investments have increased in value for the 10th week out of 11, which has been great. And what has led the investment rise in the last week? Firstly, it's been positive news concerning vaccines that have helped to stimulate the market. The second piece of news was not the news, but the fact that lockdown is being accelerated. I will come on to that in the UK. And thirdly, the unemployment data in the US, which showed that the unemployment figures were a lot better than the markets expected. And so markets have picked up on the back of that. So we've seen very positive returns for our clients. So much so that our clients in risk level 5 have actually made money in the last 3 months during the crash. So we've had literally clients making money during this period, and so therefore there have been very, very good investment opportunities from fund managers who have done the job that's been able to do that. So it's been very good, and clients have been those that invested 8 weeks ago have seen very, very good returns during that period of time. So that's been good, and investments are there. But yes, I do appreciate that. This is all on sentiment and on good news, and a lot of the bad news that was factored in. If we do get some bad news that are worse news than expected, such as the vaccine's not going to come until 2021, that a second wave is likely without any treatment, all that sort of stuff can affect the markets to a detriment. But at the moment, we're still feeling, and we're still comfortable with the way that what markets are progressing. Okay, let's deal with furlough now. Important for you to know, 1st of July, you can go back, work part-time and still get furlough. How will this work? Well, let's assume that half of your you work half of the week and the firm furloughs you for the other half of the week, you'll get full pay for the half of the week that you work, and you will get furloughed, initially 80% dropping to 70% for the second half of the week. So it'll be prorated. So please make sure that your employer does that right. You should be fully paid for the part that you do, and you are furloughed for the hours or the proportion of hours that you don't work. And that can only start from the 1st of July. Credit cards and loans. Very important about credit cards. One of the things in recent times for those people that are debt ridden is they will flip between 0% loans, but these are now diminishing. And there is only one 0% loan now that's got any lengthy period, and that's with MBNA, who charge a 2.99% fee. So I would rush to get that. If you've got a credit card and you are paying interest on that credit card, go and look at the MBNA rate and move 2.9%, but you're going to get interest-free payments for 2 years on that. So that's very, very important, because these 0%ers are falling away. The housing market. The Nationwide announced in May that we had the biggest monthly fall in house prices for 11 years. Yes, 11 years. Now, I do accept the fact that this was during the rundown, but there are plenty of reasons why the housing market will come under pressure, and I have covered that on a separate lockdown, lowdown previously, so I'm not going to bore those of you watching that and thinking, what's he talking about? Go down and watch the previous lockdown, lowdowns, find out the one about the housing market, and then you can follow that there. But the housing market is definitely an area that may end up being a buying opportunity for some down the road, but we've got a little way to go through that. But that's going to link into the next point, mortgage holidays. Now, and this is going to have a negative impact on the housing market. People were told, falsely, that if you take a mortgage holiday, it will not impair your borrowing capacity down the line. It will not be held against you. I can tell you that that is not true in many circumstances. It is held against you. Buy-to-let landlords that have taken a mortgage holiday cannot take further advances, cannot move their loans to other lenders. In general, it is becoming very difficult. And because the information is held electronically, it is reducing your credit scoring when you are applying for mortgages. So please, please, please do not opt for these holiday payments unless you really, really have to. Because the problem that you are going to get down the line, and we don't know yet how bad it's going to be, is if you then need to move lenders or buy a new house, you may not be able to do it, which may mean that your payments go up with your existing lender and you may not have an alternative. And remember that what you do not pay is capitalised. You are going to pay it back eventually with interest upon interest. So be very wary if you're on payment holidays and you don't need to be. Please don't take them unless it is last resort. And if you have done, and you shouldn't have done, pay them back and get your account back in order. Test and trace. This is very important. The most ludicrous thing I saw on a government briefing was somebody asked Jenny Harries, who in my opinion should be sacked. They asked her, how will we know if the call is genuine? And she said, oh, you'll know by how professional the people are that are test and tracing. Well, these people are on £10 an hour. I'm not saying they won't be professional, but I'm quite sure a scammer and somebody who's working at test and trace, the scammers are good at scamming because you don't know. It's ludicrous advice, and that woman, for some of the things she said, we're going to be the exemplar of how, all this sort of nonsense, how it is. But let me tell you how you make sure you're not being scammed, because I know this week already I've had reports of people being scammed. So let me tell you what happens. You should be given an ID when they call you. You should ask for an ID. And then you go online to the government's track and trace system, which is it is on the NHS site. So don't use a dodgy site, because what they can do is give you a site that looks like it's NHS but it's not. Take that reference, go onto the NHS site yourselves and log in your ID there. That way you can make sure that the call is genuine. Do not under any circumstances give personal information such as bank accounts, credit card details, payment details or anything, or driving licence numbers or anything like that to them, because this is something you've got to check who they are before you part with anything. But there's no occasion that anybody from the NHS will ask for any payment or payment numbers. So please, please, please be wary of these scams. You are going to read about them in the papers, and if you're watching this, that's how you avoid it. Get the ID number, go away and go to the NHS site and enter the ID number, and if it comes, if it's okay, you will be able to enter the site immediately. Okay, before I deal with just the update on boxing, I'm going to deal with the Oxford vaccine, the follow the money scenario that I spoke about previously. Now, the Oxford vaccine, there's some exciting news on this. They've always said they're 80% sure that it's going to work, but they were then worried about not having enough people to test here. Well, I can tell you they are now testing this in Brazil, because if you know in Brazil there is no lockdown in Brazil and the virus is rife over there. So they are at the moment now heavily testing in Brazil, and they are hopeful that by the end of August they will be able to confirm the efficacy of this vaccine. And they are, I am told reliably, 80 to 90% sure that this vaccine will be effective. Now, when I say effective, it may be effective at preventative. It may not be a full vaccine that's going to protect you for a long time, but it may give you temporary, or even, we don't know yet, or longer term prevention against it. But what's also important, and good news from the Oxford team, is they have got a treatment, an actual treatment now that they feel is pretty sure to work. So not only have they got a vaccine, they're also working on a treatment which will test those, which will be able to treat those who develop the virus. Because the issue with a vaccine is not everybody will get vaccinated by it, and some people won't want the vaccine. So for those that don't want the vaccine, or for those that they feel that it won't be right, maybe somebody who's 80 to have the vaccine, they will have a treatment that they say in the early stages can combat COVID-19. So I would say to you that the vaccine situation is looking very, very good over here. And my money scenario is Bill Gates has actually pumped a lot of money into this Oxford vaccine, and it's money that he's putting so that there's enough vaccines to go around the poorer parts of the world. So that's coming this week as well. So in addition to the American money, the British money, there's now the Gates money. So let me tell you, this is the forefront of all vaccines around the world to work. The Oxford vaccines with Sarah Gilbert is the one. And I think also, just going off of a tangent, and there's this I don't know, this is just my assumption, that the government are releasing lockdown earlier than the scientists want them to release it. There is no doubt about that. But the issue is that we do know that it's less prevalent in open air, and we are in the summer, and the risk of the second wave is the autumn. The big second wave risk is the autumn. So if they can control it through the summer, and this Oxford vaccine comes through with vaccinations that are being done for September, that, in my opinion, could be their little side gamble that that's going to work and prevent any potential second wave down the line. Before I take questions, let's just deal with boxing. The latest, and again, I haven't sought confirmation of this, but my understanding is that the Dylan White fight may have been now removed to the middle of August. So I think that there are issues here where there's a lot more to do than people think, but I haven't spoken to Matchroom about that directly. It's just something I've been told from a reliable source. And also we've got the fact that there are no confirmed dates yet from either Frank or Eddie, and we do know that at the moment sparring is not permitted until the 15th of June. So you've really got an issue here where fighters that have been provisionally asked about fights, and we have some, there's no confirmation of dates, no confirmation of anything as of yet. I know people that are trying to make matches such as Fabio Wardley, Simon Villani. I know that's a fight I'm looking forward to for the English heavyweight title, and there's some others they're working towards. But the other fights they're going to work alongside that have not been finalised yet, or no dates have been finalised yet. Eddie Hearn has announced 2 stadium shows on the 7th, also on the 3rd, I think it is, and the 17th of October. I think that's optimistic, because you are, without a vaccine, if the vaccine doesn't come off, and I think that's difficult, and I think so. But I mean, at least what he's doing is trying to put measures in case there is boxing at that time. So I do understand why he's doing that for October, but obviously at the moment everything is hinging on whether sparring is allowed to take place from the 15th of June. But what you've also got to remember is a lot of boxers won't have a lot of sparring. A lot of gyms are closed. A lot of gyms have received support from the government, from the landlords, and if they open, they'll lose some of that support from the landlords. So it's very difficult because until gyms can get personal, can get the PTs back in, and that's where they generate the money from. A lot of gyms don't make money out of professional boxing. You know, you can't really go back to having full sparring. So that's the difficult thing that they're playing with at the moment in boxing. I've been fortunate last week. If you listened to Talk Sport last night, I did a pre-recorded interview on Talk Sport. There was I was involved, fortunately, with one of my boxers, or two of my boxers, Dean Richardson and Linus Udofia. We did interviews in The Independent on Friday, so that was really good as well. And Sam Cox, at the moment, one of my other boxers, is doing working with the Sun newspaper on an interview. So we are doing our best to keep our boxers relevant and out there, and so we've doing as much as we can there. So I hope you found all of that interesting. So I've covered all of the subjects I'm going to cover. So all that's left is to answer if there are any questions at all. So Kate, is there anything there?
Yeah, the first question we got was, do you think Fury should get an MBE as AJ has?
Do I think Fury should get an MBE as AJ has? Well, I think that Fury has done as much for boxing as Anthony Joshua has, so I don't see any reason why not. Yes, I do. I think if you're looking for equality, he's done great things for the sport. The victory against Klitschko, going to America and beating Wilder, there's no doubt for me that Fury should get an MBE. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and a couple of people have said, what are your thoughts on AJ at the protest rally?
I think I'd rather keep those views to myself. I think, I watched it, and I think it was AJ wasn't really talking about boxing. He was talking about a political issue. Let me say first of all, that I totally agree. Those guys in America, these police, they have to. That black people have to be treated with equality and everything else. So I totally accept all of that. But as far as somebody making a specific political statement with particular views, I don't really feel that's appropriate for me to comment. I'd rather keep those views to myself.
And we've only got one other comment today. It's from Chris Blount saying, "Where's your earpiece? I can't help you without it." But yeah, that's it today.
I don't have earpieces, so not today. We're sitting a bit further away. So it was good to see Chris. I saw Chris this week. He came round for a coffee. We spent a few hours in the morning chatting about everything. So it was really good to catch up with him. But yeah, I think we've covered a hell of a lot of stuff. So sometimes we get loads of questions. Today there's been very few, but I hope then that you've. And I'm sorry, I don't want to. I normally answer everything, but I don't want to answer the Joshua one. And I think because I think there's been so much in the press about that, and I just feel sometimes it's better not to get involved in a political argument or trying to decipher somebody's speech, because everybody's entitled to have their views. That's what the world is about. We have freedom of speech over here. Whatever your views, you're entitled to express them. And like everything else, you might agree with a lot of what somebody says, and some you don't agree with. But I don't want to dissect his speech and say I agree with that part, I don't agree with that part, or whatever else it is. Are we done, Kate?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for watching. Obviously, you've been swamped over with too much information and don't feel a need to ask, so that's brilliant. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll be back here next week, next Sunday at 6:30, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.